What the mainstream media was too afraid to tell you about the news this week. This week, while the mainstream media obsessed over Democrats eating fried chicken on the floor of the House of Representatives, here are the things that happened that really matter. As the left continues to hurl baseless accusations at Attorney General Barr, accusing him of lying to Congress in his letter about the Mueller report, Special Counsel Robert Mueller himself actually confirmed that Barr's letter to Congress was accurate. This whole lie was debunked by the Washington Post, believe it or not, when they reported that Mueller sent Barr a letter complaining about Barr's letter to Congress. But if you read that whole article, way down in paragraph 14, it says the day after Mueller sent that letter to Barr, Mueller and Barr spoke on the phone, and Mueller confirmed that Barr's letter to Congress was accurate, and that Mueller was just annoyed by Barr's media rollout strategy. Mueller thought Barr should release the report piecemeal. Barr waited to redact it all and then release the whole thing. But did the mainstream media report this very important fact to you? Did the mainstream media call out the left for lying or stick up for their own reporting? Nope. The mainstream media didn't say a word. They hoped the truth would get lost in the shuffle. Vice President Joe Biden has been dismissing the idea that China is a threat to the United States. But back in 2013, Vice President Biden traveled to China with his son, Hunter Biden, to talk about serious issues like the South China Sea and trade. And 2 days after they returned to the United States, Hunter Biden signed a $1.5 billion equity deal with the Chinese Communist Party. And suddenly, after that, Joe Biden's stance on China policy softened. But did the mainstream media report on this? Nope. The mainstream media only cares about collusion and corruption if it's Republicans. The U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom released their 20th annual report that lists the worst violators of religious liberty around the world. Among the 16 countries they identify are China, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Eritrea. Guess what else those 5 countries all have in common? They are all on the UN Human Rights Council. And your tax money goes to the UN funding these human rights abusers, deciding if other people are committing human rights abuses. And guess what else these nations have in common? That's right, they all target Christians. But did the mainstream media report on this? Nope, the mainstream media ignores persecution of Christians. A Canadian father was threatened with arrest without warrant by the Supreme Court of British Columbia if he refers to his transgender daughter in public or in private with female pronouns. This horrible violation of the man's freedom of speech and parental rights comes after he was convicted of family violence because he refused to call his trans daughter a boy. And that came after the court ruled that his 14-year-old daughter could have hormone injections, even though her father said he wanted to address her mental health issues first. And did the mainstream media report on this? Of course not. The mainstream media didn't say a word. A new study by the American Enterprise Institute analyzed the proposed policies encompassed in the Green New Deal and the impact each policy would have on the environment. AEI found that even if the Green New Deal were to become the law of the land, even if it were fully funded, even if it were fully executed and efficiently meeting its goals, it would still have zero impact on the climate. The whole plan, even if it worked, would only cut the global temperature by 0.083 to 0.173 degrees, which is barely distinguishable from zero. But did the mainstream media report this really important study? Did the mainstream media ask why the Democrats are still supporting the Green New Deal if it won't do what the Democrats claim it will do? Nope. The mainstream media is silent. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you, so we will.